The New York Times has argued on the front page of its sports section yesterday that UCONN deserved the national championship in college football this year because they had the bravery not to play. There are only 3 schools in FBS that did not play: UConn, New Mexico State, and Old Dominion. UConn was the first school to cancel play, and the New York Times is arguing that that bravery deserves them a national championship. Now, it's a ridiculous position to adopt, primarily because the idea of bravery being connected to doing nothing and being fearful and running and hiding from finding solutions is the exact opposite of what bravery has traditionally meant throughout history. Bravery usually connotes risk of imprisonment, risk of death, risk of some significant issue in your life. It isn't brave to refuse to go outside and to curl up in the fetal position and wear a mask and whimper. In fact, that is the exact opposite of everything that America has traditionally stood for. This is a country where we find solutions even in the face of obstacles. It was not brave to avoid getting involved in World War I and World War II. It was not brave to avoid all danger during immigration. It was not brave to avoid getting on the Oregon Trail. It was not brave to leave your country and seek a better place. That is the foundation of bravery. Doing something, risking something more, not refusing to do anything and claiming it's impossible to play football, for God's sakes. That's not bravery. That's not courage. That's the definition of cowardice. It's also weakness. It needs to be ridiculed. New Mexico State, Old Dominion, and UConn should be castigated for their inability to find a way to play sports in a healthy manner like every other school in FBS did, the other 127 schools. We should be praising to the high heavens the SEC, the Big 12, and the Pac-12, who all refused to make the decision to cancel their season. Everything that the New York Times and their sports reporter who is arguing that there shouldn't have been a college football season, what they are doing is overlooking all of the data, which is clear and transparent and without doubt, which is everybody was able to play. There were almost 0 serious health conditions, players, coaches, fans. There were almost 0 hospitalizations. There were, in fact, 0 deaths traced to the decision to play college football. In fact, I would argue with you that if we had a comparison with average college kids in the country, that the number of infections inside of college athletic departments was smaller than the number of infections inside of larger college cohort populations, because they were testing every day and they were working as diligently as possible to try to avoid ending up with anything associated with an outbreak. This is just everything that's wrong with sports media, with the Corona Bros. And by the way, let me point this out. Many of the people who spent months arguing that it was unsafe to play football are now covering football games. They are fans who are going to the press boxes and they are sitting there writing their stories about the games that are taking place. If it was in fact unsafe to play football, why in the world is it safe for you to travel and cover football? It's nonsensical. The hypocrisy here is glaring and incredibly transparent. Yet it's amazing to me how many people out there are willing to accept sports media news from people who told you that it was totally unsafe to play football, like the New York Times and all the Corona Bro losers there.